Screencast 35. Adding URL drill-through actions. I'm going to go preview my previous report, and the first thing I need to do is really clean it up. It's a little bit of a mess. We have grouping, we have all these headers and footer rows. I'm just going to remove those things. So I'm going to remove these two fields. In the header, I'm going to remove this header row. Actually, I'm going to remove the entire grouping. That'll be the easiest. Now we're just back to the flat list. Let's try to understand what we want to do here. You know, if you go to color lovers, and you'll notice each one of these palettes has an ID, right? And if I put in the ID into this URL, I actually get to specifically one of those palettes. Okay? That's what we want to do. We want to get to a specific link and launch the web browser. So we're going to take this step by step. I'm going to show you how to do this. The first is how do we create a link of any kind? Forget being sensitive to the ID. Let's just go, I don't know, to Microsoft.com. In an R design, you'll go to the data node, find one of the fields here, and we'll pick title here. I'm going to add, we have two choices, report drill-through action and URL drill-through action. Report drill-through action will be to another design, or even in another report. And URL drill-through is what we want. It's essentially to a web page, right? So let's try it. Okay, now if we preview this very second, what'll happen? No errors, no warnings. I'm clicking here, nothing. Interesting. Okay. Why didn't that do anything? Well, it's very simple. The expression is blank. So you won't see the effect of the link if the expression is blank. Let's go set it to something. Let's do HTTP www.microsoft.com. Okay? Now, what happens in our preview? Nothing visually changed. Now, if whoa, look at this. Notice the arrow, the cursor changed. It's a arrow right now, and all of a sudden I got here, and it's a hand. So if I click here, what will happen? I clicked on Cheer Up Emo Kid. I went to Microsoft.com. Excellent. So the links are working, right? Even in preview, we can see this. Now that we've figured that out, let's think about what we're seeing here. Unfortunately, just adding the action didn't make it obvious that was a link. We really wanted some more visual indication. So often what you'll have to do is look at the field you want, and you're going to have to style it to make it look like a link. In this case, we will just change the font, and I'll try to pick a decent color, which isn't too bright, but makes it obvious it's a link. Let's see. Well, why not Dodger Blue? Okay, now you see? That's more obvious. One thing to notice is that the entire cell took on the link, not just the text. Okay? We still go to Microsoft.com, at least now it looks like a link. And we could have made this, it could have made it underlined, but I generally don't like seeing underlines on things. So the next thing we want to do is, how can we dynamically generate the link? Well, this is very simple. Let's go to the expression, and we will just, I wrote down the URL here. Okay, that will go to a specific palette. Let's verify that works. Go to preview, and I clicked on John Goldfish, but it's going to Austin Art. Fine. At least we know we're getting to the Color Lovers website. Now what we need to do is take advantage of the data we have. So I'll remove this part of the string, and I'll just add the ID. And the ID is a string already, I know that. Fields, ID. And let's preview, see if everything's okay. Okay, so I'm going to click on Giant Goldfish, and let's see what happens. Giant Goldfish. And how about thought-provoking? Thought-provoking. Okay. So this is the very simplest case of adding an action to a report. That is, you're clicking on something and something is going to happen as a result. I'm not actually limited to these kind of URLs. I could do, in fact, let's just temporarily, let's edit this. I'm going to show you, I'm going to copy, oops, I'm going to copy all of that. I can also do mail to, savinar@microsoft.com. Let's see what happens. Click here, and now you can't see it, or you can't hear it, but I can actually hear Outlook was starting up. So, those mail to links will actually work. Let me cancel out of this, and I'll fix the report back to just going to what I had, which was based on the ID. I'll go preview and just verify it all works again. Okay, so it's a simple example of adding a link to go to a static website and then being able to dynamically figure out which website to go to. Right? Now, if just a comment I'll make, I won't add any more code, but you noticed I used an expression here, right? If constructing this link gets complicated, really the thing I would recommend doing is writing a data method that took a, let's say the ID as a parameter and then constructed the URL. And again, that's because I prefer to write my code in these reports in C# as opposed to this VB language in these expressions. It just makes it easier for me to maintain over time. Okay, so that's for this lesson. In our next couple of screencasts, we'll explore some more about drill-through actions. Okay, see you then.